Now it's my honor to introduce a colleague from Pennsylvania's 8th District who served his country in the FBI, and I am now honored to serve with him on the Homeland Security Committee, to which he brings an incredible wealth of experience. And I think he is living proof of the necessity of embarking on term limits and implementing them now. And so with that, I yield the time to the gentleman from Pennsylvania, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank my colleague from Wisconsin, Mr. Gallagher, for his leadership on this issue, and to all the members of our class who have joined together in the shared belief that this institution is one of, by, and for the people, not one belonging to a class of professional politicians or partisan elites. And since being sworn in earlier this year to serve the people of Bucks and Montgomery County, I've made it my mission to advance common sense, bipartisan government reform agenda that includes perhaps the single most important thing that I believe we need to do in this nation, and that is institute term limits. For 14 years serving as an FBI agent, most of that time being in the political corruption units throughout the country, there was one commonality that I saw very, very frequently, that there was a unmistakable correlation between the length of time in office and the instances of corruption. That the lines that were very bright for elected officials coming into the system on day one weren't so bright in year 7, 8, 9, certainly not in year 15 or 20. And even the most well-intended backbone individuals oftentimes can be corrupted by a system that has the power to change some people. Those lines become blurred over time. And it's with this background and these real-world experiences that myself and my colleagues are pushing this issue in this House of Representatives, in this chamber, for the 115th Congress. I myself introduced House Resolution 7 on my first day, and other reform-minded measures on my first day in Congress. This was a constitutional amendment that would once and for all set term limits for members of the House and the Senate. And as tonight shows, there's wide-ranging support for this need of reform. And in a time of deep political division, the distrust between citizens and their government at an all-time high, term limits can be the first step towards restoring essential bonds between the American people and the Congress. So I urge my colleagues to join us in transitioning power away from the political class here in Washington, D.C., and sending it back to its rightful place in the hands of the American people. I yield back the balance of my time, and I want to compliment Mr. Gallagher again for organizing this.
And I'd like to thank my colleague, Mr. Fitzpatrick, not only for his leadership on this issue, but on a host of issues related to congressional reform, whether it's no budget, no pay, or a series of other bills that he's introduced. And I look forward to working with him.